You are now rocking with the 3-yard play.
Right.
We just figured out a 3-yard play, fam. We're gonna win every time.
Yeah.
Hit that link with you. Come on in.
You're tuned into the 3-Yard Play podcast. Well, the only question is, does it work for you?
Trail got wings, bitch.
We been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year. We been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year. We live in weight just to hold up the trophy. Flag on the plate, cause them haters can't hold me. And 1, 2-a-days and run up the biggest hill just to sharpen up my skills. They hit the scoreboard first, I had to hit them drills. Time I get around the corner, they gon' see my new wheels. After practice, till the lights come on, till they bust ride out and they gone. That rally had us pep, my teammate down the steps. Player, we got plays you ain't even seen yet. I post up and fade away like graffiti. Just don't claim it's love when you see us on TV. We been working all year. It's game time. We all here. We turned up. Oh yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year.
3-Yard Play podcast.
We been working
brought to you by reality.
all year.
Where it is what it is.
Game time.
You get what you get.
We all here.
So comment and let us know where you live.
Yeah. Cause we finna be the champs this year.
What's good? What's good? We bring y'all a special, man, current events version of the 3-Yard Play podcast. This your boy Trip. What's good, everybody? Who we got tonight?
What's good?
What's happening?
It's
Hey,
prime time, baby.
hey.
And we got a special guest, man. We got a special guest, man. Authentic Hall of Fame, man. Fullback, running back, man. Football player extraordinaire, Stephen Morse in the
Beast
building.
mode.
What's good, fam?
Appreciate it, brother.
The original beast mode, baby.
Hey, you know I gotta play my theme music before we get.
Okay, well, I hope your theme music. Let's hear it.
Oh,
And it's pulling on your camera, so this song better be good. It's pulling on your camera quality.
Okay, check it out. Must be the money that's making me go left. Must be the money.
Oh, wait. I guess that's a segue for tonight's topic, man. We're gonna be discussing the move of Coach Prime, man. Deion Sanders moving from Jackson State to Colorado, the University of Colorado Buffaloes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How y'all feel about that? I'm gonna defer to y'all, the football guys, man. It's not even right for me to speak first on that, man. How y'all feel about that?
Well, me personally, I understand that there is a business to this thing, right? Only thing I got a problem with is he sold some guys some dreams that were 4 and 5-star athletes that could have gone, somewhere else. You know what I mean? So they gave up a lot too to be with him. They only came to Jackson State to be with Deion. So he kind of just left him out there. You know what I mean? So for me, that's a little bit hard. I feel like, hey, he should have at least finished the recruiting class that he brought there, because that's why they came, and he sold them on the culture, establishing a new culture, a new mindset, and these guys bought into it. They followed him, only for him to turn around and do the very thing that he was trying to talk them out of doing. So yeah, I get it. I would have rather him say, come to my school. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, with that being said, though, I that was my initial thoughts, but at the same time, I thought about those athletes, and a lot of them, they got the transfer portal now. They can hop in and get out and get going too without penalty also. But I guess the biggest thing for me was not so much about no job choice and the opportunity to choose and the opportunity to be in there. It to me is big. I just personally thought it put a lot of pressure on HBCUs now. How they gonna? What are they gonna do without Prime? Though, you know what I mean. Everything was about Prime. You know what I mean. To draw everybody in, and I just thought that it was going. I think I don't know it to be true. Just my personal experience. I mean, my personal opinion would be it might hurt the HBCUs more than it helped because in my mind it set the tone that hey, you got all this going on, but if you really want a real chance, you need to go to the PWI because that's where it's at. That's where the money is. That's where the resources are. That's where the tools are. And kind of to your point about setting the culture, I thought I hope. Let me just say I hope. He never said. I just hope that it would bring that type of what you call it attention to these other schools and eventually get there. I know we on a 3-year deal, so to speak. You know, something to say.
What do you
I
think?
agree.
Let me ask you real quick. What when you said that? What did you think Dion when he came to the house? Say I'm recruiting you, Big Steve. What do you think Dion sold you on? The
I
culture.
mean, definitely. Yeah, I mean, culture. So, culture, opportunity of a lifetime to change. Be a part of something different right now. Be the first class ever come through. HBCU and dominate the way he probably wanted to have it done. But to be honest with you, it's no different than the same thing that Nick Saban would sell to me. The same thing that Coach from Florida State would sell to me. The next best opportunity comes up, they're gonna take it. It's just the nature of the business. It's unfortunate, but I think it's the nature of the beast. I think the unfortunate part is the perception. And perception would be that going to a PWI, University of Colorado, is considered elevation. I think that to the most people, they would consider it that way. But I mean, you have to pull the positive too as well. And by that I mean HBCUs for the past 2 years have received more exposure with prime time than they have over the last 20 years. You see the NBA, you see the NFL, you see it widely represented on athletes on their T-shirts now and post-game interviews. He started a movement. I think it's on somebody else to kind of help keep it moving. I think putting it all on one man's back is tough. I think that can be a lot. So I do support Coach Prime in his next venture, man. It's still about movement and challenges. He was 12-0, 12-0 this season. He may want a new challenge. He became Prime, seeking challenges, seeking competition. So, man, it's tough for me to kind of say he shouldn't, but I definitely see the negatives and the positives in the move. I'm on both sides of the fence, man.
Now I'll throw another little thing in. I would say a big part of the push was trying to get HBCU kids an opportunity to get into the league. And to your point earlier, man, stay with that first class. Let's see who you got to the league, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, you changed the culture. A lot of folks come in. Brian Kelly came in and changed the culture and took his team the first year to the SEC championship. But then what happens after that? You know what I mean? The big thing was getting those boys exposure to get into the league, and only that was gonna come through Prime. Y'all know Prime, my boys. I ain't gonna never be mad at Prime about nothing. I just don't know what the blowback it really is going to be.
Well, let me ask a question for you guys. Do you think that it weighed out, although he may not have stayed, just the added publicity that he brought? So, them 3 years that you were there with him, pretty much you was on TV damn near every week, or you guys just got a lot more looks than you would have had you not been in his school. You could have been even at that other D1 that was courting you, and you still would not have had as much attention as that Jackson State team had for those 3 years. You think on some level that weighs out, or you think overall just for what he put in place, unfortunately it just hadn't got a time to set, and kind of how we saying it's going to be that much disappointment in terms of whoever steps in next they're not going to be able to inspire like this man inspired. So it's going to kind of be a hole there for a minute. But I do think just the attention he brought kind of outweighs it in some regard.
And there's a
To be honest,
backstory,
man,
bro. Like anything else, man. I think that
uh,
he got into the opportunity, he made it happen, but there's a story that's going to come out to be told, man. It didn't meet his expectations in some way.
After why he moved on.
I really believe, man, something forced him out and something he just couldn't deal with. And he took the next best opportunity. There's going to be something to come out later, I sincerely believe, because he was too committed to the cause. And for the same reasons y'all giving, it's just against, it doesn't seem like Prime. It's going to be a backstory one day to help us understand what just happened. But
when you say it doesn't seem like Prime, but I always ask that question when we see things like this. That is prime. Since day one, prime always been about the money. That's why
Got
the
the money,
song
bro.
was, you know. But here's my thing to answer your question, Trip. Let's be honest. People did not come or get interested in Jackson State because um they were good or they were interested in the development of the culture. They were there for Deion Sanders. Simple as that. All right.
Right.
So what we are going to experience, I want to see is once he leaves, does that same energy remain? Because if it doesn't, guess what? That 5-star athlete that could have went to Alabama and eventually by his junior and senior year got notoriety and gone to the NFL. Now nobody's watching him in his third and fourth year at Jackson State because Deion's not there. And that's what's happened to a lot of those programs. Once those stars or whatever leave, that's it. They don't have nothing. They don't have a legacy to build on for people to come back and watch them and be interested. So, man, I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the next few years for that school. But I honestly believe that what possibly is going to happen is the same thing that usually happens when those schools get left. They go back to obscurity. You know what I mean? So,
But that's
you
on the
know,
alumni base. That's on the parents. That's on the community. That's why I'm a little bit measured in my perspective because I think Jackson State has nothing to complain about. Nothing to complain about. All the things that Stephen mentioned about. They brought water to the city. They got new facilities. They brought some money in. They brought a lot of time and attention. I guess my concern is for HBCUs overall because I think the message is that is not the spot. You know what I mean? You need to go to these PWIs if you're really serious about these sports. You know what I mean? And
right.
that concerns me a little bit, but that ain't got nothing to do with prime. You know what I mean? Because your alum base set the tone. You know what I mean? They gotta invest back into the schools you graduated from. You know what I mean? You got to create other opportunities for the people behind you. And then I don't want to put that all on one man. So to your point about, hey, what happens when they leave? I hope they learn the blueprint on how to be successful and how to build a program. I just hope that is the case.
But what is his blueprint? See what I'm saying? He sold a blueprint of building the culture, but then turned around and did the same thing that he's trying to teach everybody else. So what that actually does is reinforce the same mentality that's always been there. You get big, go big. You go to the PWI. So I feel like the messaging is what's more. I'm not against. Prime is my favorite player of all time. I'm not against growth and development, but I am particular about someone promoting something and then abandoning what they're actually promoting. You see what I'm saying? So it's the youth today, they like this. They like, bro, it's show me state. Show me. You not gonna tell me to do this and then you go do something else. I'm watching you. So that's all I have. I really believe that he gonna do well wherever he go. But at the same time, I feel like he hung him up, with an idea of a principle that he wasn't even really about. Because in a way, it almost feels like he used him. You see, he could have been, he could have been gone to D1.
Well,
He had
let me ask
offers.
you a question then. In terms of, what about the concept or the idea that he's sending the elevator back down? Like you need more
That ain't
brothers
happening.
as D1 coaches, and then him getting in the D1 program, he can now hire in more, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, give brothers some kind of inroads in the programs where now, maybe they can go on and do that, and it leads to jobs for others. You shaking your head the whole way, like, no, it's not happening. Why you don't think he could? I mean, why you say that? He ain't got a chance to do it yet.
I feel like what's happening is, the school is who you should be worrying about trying to bring up into D1. See, perfect example. When I was at Georgia Southern, we started out as D1 AA, right? Kept putting in, kept building the school, bringing more athletes, bringing more talent, and then it jumped over into Division One single A. So the same thing you can say about HBCUs if you have the talent there. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not so worried about individuals as opposed as, to the whole. You know what I mean? Like, why not get Howard University able to play at, Alabama? Why not get, you know, all of your Bethune-Cookmans and all that in a position like Appalachian State just went through, where they advanced, or Georgia Southern just advanced. So I'm not so saying you got one coach in. We dealing with, what is it called, the Rooney Rule or something. I mean, that's basically the same thing, status quo.
I dig it.
It's tough. I think it's a bigger call though, in terms of, you gotta look at the root cause of everything, man. I think it's a big time to look back at alumni, the big time to look at our schools and giving back. You speak of Appalachian State, you speak about Georgia Southern, you speak about these schools have resources, man, and it comes down to resources. Me as a coach, and if I'm Coach Prime, if I make a promise to develop your young man and make him the best athlete he can possibly be in football, he can possibly be, I need facilities, I need resources. When I have a high ankle sprain, I don't need a kid being out 6 or 7 weeks. I need the facilities that have that child back on the field in 4 to 5 days. If we're trying to compete in today's football, man. It's come down. It's money and resources, and I think that's going to be the end game on this whole thing, man. It came down to money and resources, and to be the best version of yourself, you want to put yourself in the best facility. And these facilities are not equal. No matter what we say, no matter what we want them to be, the reality is that these facilities are superior to the facilities of HBCUs. Now, the goal, like I say, the root cause is we need to build our facilities and build our schools up. But until that time, I think it's unfair to ask, honestly, in my personal opinion, to ask a football player or a child in a contact sport to play at a lesser facility, because it lessens his likelihood and chance of success. If I have a baseball player or a basketball player, I think it's more realistic. But if you look at what the University of Colorado offers in terms of football players, one of the most violent games out here, my child would honestly have to go to a place that has the facilities that can also support his recovery in his career. And that's what it comes down to for me, man. It's resources and facilities, man. And it's the game that he's coaching and playing. A different sport might be a different outcome, but it's tough, man, in football to not have facilities and to be sitting in ice buckets. It's old school, man. We 40 years up. Problem is resources.
Good point. Right.
Resources.
we reached the 15-minute mark, so we'll go around and have final thoughts, man. I cook the final thoughts off and let you guys wrap it up. But one thing I heard, man, shout out to Willie D. I got to give credit where I first heard the idea, man. Willie D's podcast, y'all tune in and check him out. But he brought up an interesting idea of, what about the fact that so often our best and brightest leave, and maybe that was the whole point of it. Regardless of what job it was or where he went, of like, get him out of there because he's doing too much for those young men and doing too much for that community and building them up and putting too much, giving them too much self-esteem. They're standing up too straight. They're feeling, they're accomplishing goals too much. So that was one idea that was put out there, and I thought about that. But then I also thought about just the other idea of, as a coach, you want to move up, and maybe Deion want to win a Super Bowl. And take it that far to where they see that, okay, hey, we need to let more brothers do it. How when we see black quarterbacks, really get their shine on initially, now you see more black quarterbacks and more guys get that role. So it could cut either way, but it is interesting, to see arguably his success be so controversial, because all in all, he did turn that program around. So I think that's great in what he did. That record he put down was phenomenal. And shouts out to him, man. Much love to Prime Time, man. He's always been successful. So we just here arguing over his success one way or the other,
Hey,
Bingo.
Can't even be mad. That's what I'm saying. Can't be mad at the man.
Nah,
He's just playing the game like it's supposed to be played. I think you mentioned earlier, felt like he used, but hey, they used him too. You know what I mean? That's the game. Everybody got, you give something, you take something. Somebody got to sacrifice something. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm gonna be quick and just say my overall concern is just HBCUs as a whole. It's not about Prime choosing a job and moving forward. I just worry about that 3, 4, 4-star or 5-star who might have even considered HBCU. I have a hard time believing they would moving forward without Prime. Without Prime.
Hey, my thing is step up. Hey, who's next? Prime set the table. Stage is set. I'm talking about better than it's ever been set before. Who next?
Mm-hmm.
Who gonna take the throne, man? Who gonna catapult to the next level for us? That's what we need right now. Prime has done his part, man. And he gonna take them same. I guarantee that Colorado team is 80% African American. Them brothers need Prime the same way them brothers need him in the same representation. Division 1A, all these black athletes, no black coaches. They need them too, man. We need Prime all over the board, man. You know what I'm saying? Our boys out here in all these schools. So, hey, let's get it. Step up. Let's go.
No doubt.
That's that 3-yard play right there, bro.
Look. And I'm going to leave with this. Congratulations to Mr. Primetime. However, I'm going to speak for the guys that's on that team. Hey, do what's best for you. Always remember, everybody got an agenda.
Yes, sir.
Do what's best for you. So if that meant, hey, you needed to go to Alabama, like Prime wanted to go to Colorado, must be the money. Hey, go and do your thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, and true enough to your point, Steve, it does take more people outside of one individual. We need to then question the whole group as a whole. Like we all need to start, you know, participating and giving back to our HBCUs in order to get them to the next level. It's going to take more than just Prime, no doubt. So again, thank Prime for the time that he was there, but understand, guys, hey, it's a business. Shout.
Hey, end of the day, right? It's a business, baby.
Hey, and LJ, you guys reminded me of the unofficial slogan for the podcast, man. 3-yard play. Where the only question is, does it work for you? So that's really what it boils down to. You know, is people got to do what's best for them, what really works for them. So shouts out to everybody, man. And before we get out of here, man, I want to say thank you very much to Stephen Morse for participating. Our special guest this week just got inducted into the Westminster Hall of Fame for football. So if you know, you know, man, one of the greats, man, right here in the state of Georgia. So
hey, shameless plug, my brother, the football, wrestling, and track. 3-yard
whoa.
Hey, that 3-yard play.
Hey.
And I'm sorry, football, wrestling.
That must be that money, bud.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
We do it big. We like Prime, baby. We do it big. Must be
big over there, bro.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, brother. Don't let me take away the game, man. Three times over, man. 3 times over. So shouts out to y'all, man. And shouts out to everybody watching, man. Like, share, subscribe. 3-yard play. We out.
Hey, y'all boys doing it, man. Hey,
appreciate it.
Thank you, King.
Appreciate it, y'all.
Peace, man.
Well, all right. Yeah. You know, ever since I turned pro in 1989, when I signed the dotted line, it was strange. Most things changed for the better and for the worse. So I called my mama and she said, baby, must be the money. It's got to be because I got people who want to be my friend, people I never knew, people I never thought about associating with. I don't know what it is. Talk to me. Check it out. Diamond relax with gators on my feet. I got some pepper every day of the week. My hair is done, my fingernails
thing that separates us from every other group of slaves is the fact that
thank y'all for tuning in today and every day. And remember to keep running your 3-yard play.
Look at them mouths, we feel like flowers, they gon' grow. We gon' water the seeds and watch that harvest flow. I've been crunching numbers.
Cause we know heroes are made in the off season.
There should be no reason
and grind the slow is better than crashing out
we
for
get
dough.
that money bound for we don't want it.
Let's say, young brothers, remember,
fulfill the promise.
I ain't never 3 yards every day. They can never
I can't
stop.
read that narrative, so ain't no need of calling us. You ain't never had to tell your kid being black was a sin, cause his end was reflected through America. Taking care of us was just a handout, right? But it was fair when free labor was just as nice. I can bet you your life, your kids living alright. Cause me and mine had to do
rocking
it
with
die
the
every
3
single
Yard Play
night.
podcast.
I get mine, yeah. You get yours, yeah. But together, nigga, we gon' get some more, yeah. Look at them mouths, we feel like flowers,
So
they
like,
gon' grow.
subscribe, share,
we gon' water the seeds and watch that harvest flow. I've been crunching numbers, winter, fall, spring, and summer. There should be no reason that the baby never hunger. When we get that money bound for, we don't run it. I only pledge allegiance to, gon' fulfill the promise.